Hi, thank you for joining us today. My name is John Chapman with Cisco Systems, and this is our ongoing series on the deployment of CCAP into the cable operator systems. Today we are joined with John Civiletto of Cox Communications. John, what's your role at Cox?
Thanks, John. I'm part of Cox's technology team, and we're focused on looking at our needs in our network on the go-forward basis. What kind of capacity, what kind of services that we're going to be offering, what we need to serve our customers in the future.
Excellent. And Cox has been a very good partner with Cisco. You've deployed a lot of our UBR 10Ks, our 3 gig 60 cards, and now you're expanding the PRE5s and the DS and the 3 gig SPA cards, which bump the platform from a 10 gig platform up to a 40 gig platform. What do you see as the drivers for growth? Why is all this bandwidth needed?
You bet. Well, I think our customers, much like we've seen across the industry as a whole, are continuing to enjoy to use our services, whether they're using it to access over-the-top video or other services over the internet. The growth just continues. I mean, that number could be anywhere from 30% at the low end to 65% in some markets that we're seeing that growth. And it's a sustained growth for year over year. And so I think that is kind of the number one driver while we are continuing to invest in our network and build that capacity to serve our customers.
And this would be, of course, the downstream capacity you speak of.
Yes, primarily downstream. Upstream, not quite growing at the same rate, but primarily downstream.
So if you were to quantify that in terms of QAM channels, what are we seeing today as far as usage in the industry for QAM channels, and where is that headed?
Sure. So across our network, we are using anywhere from 8 to 12 downstream QAM channels to serve our customers. I think that's our status for today. Going forward, we will continue to grow that number of downstream QAM channels to meet demand. I think the number will vary year by year, but probably adding a couple, 2 to 4 per year going forward.
Excellent. So 12 channels, you're already at about half a gigabit.
Yes,
so,
in some of our markets.
Yeah, so 4 channels a year, you're going to be at gigabit soon.
Yes.
That's exciting for the cable industry. Cox has been very heavily involved in defining the requirements for CCAP. And the 10K itself is a CCAP machine, and there's even newer machines coming down the road, which makes things denser and faster. What, in your view, are the important aspects of CCAP?
So I think for us, there's a couple of problems that we need to solve going forward, and I think this is where CCAP comes in. You talk about adding 4 channels a year. The problem is at some point the buildings don't hold all that equipment. And so I think for us, there's a couple of things that we really look to CCAP to help us solve. One is the density equation. We don't want to build a bunch of new buildings, so we'd like to see a platform that gets more dense over time, can drive more services per chassis. So I think that's the first part of the equation. Second is we need a more scalable model. Certainly the 10K has served us very well. It's been a great platform for us. We've been able to grow capacity year over year with new line cards, but we do need a next-gen platform that enables us to take another step forward, and I think CCAP answers that equation. And I think the third part of it is just continuing to drive the economics of scale for the industry. And so I think as we think about how we get from 12 channels down to 24 and beyond that in the future, we're looking for a platform that can bring that kind of density, that scale, at a better, more attractive economic price point.
Now, another aspect of CCAP seems to be the convergence of data and video into the same machine. How strategic is that in the grand scheme of things? And is it something that's going to happen soon or down the road? What drives it? How does that all play out?
You bet. So I think from our perspective, we've focused it today largely as 2 buckets. Our data services, one, and our video services as the other. And where we've been focused today is trying to drive convergence in those 2 buckets first. It's just kind of a logical first step. And so we've been very focused on that in recent years, especially on the, getting alignment across our data platform, as well as bringing all of our various video platforms, whether it's switched digital video, VOD, different types of video services together into a combined platform. And we're pretty much at that point today, that we have 2 converged buckets. So I think the obvious next step is, can we bring those 2 sets of narrowcast services together into a single platform. And I think we're very interested to test the waters there and to see what opportunities that can create for us. Certainly one of the challenges is that those serving groups are not necessarily aligned today. And so I think CCAP has some capabilities to help us deal with that. And so I think we're very encouraged by where this could go and where it could lead us.
And when you drive to Convergence, would that be on new growth in video, or would there be an exercise in condensing equipment all into one box?
Again, talking about that theme of trying to fit within the facilities that we have, I think over time we're motivated to try to drive it all into one box. Certainly what we've done today with one platform for data and one for video has helped us tremendously to conserve space and power. But if we think about it going forward, I think we would like to see that ultimately converge into one platform if we can make that happen.
So at the end of the day, saving space and power is a real world concern.
It really is. I mean, we have a number of facilities obviously throughout our footprint, and adding facility space is not on the top of our agenda. That we'd prefer to be adding new services for our customers, not building buildings.
Yeah. Now, this morning you gave a very good keynote address on Docsis 3.1, which is a very popular topic in the industry right now, and something that's not actually covered by the current CCAP definition. How do you see Docsis 3.1 playing into CCAP and, in a larger extent, playing into the industry in general?
You bet. So I have to admit, I tend to push the two topics together a lot of the time, simply because from our perspective, I don't see it as two evolutions of platforms. I see it as a continuum. I think CCAP can bring us a new higher density throughput platform, and Docsis is a new transport, if you will, or 3.1 rather, is a new transport that we can leverage in the access network. So I see them as two steps in one continuum going forward. I think that the key for us, and some of the points I made this morning around increasing the spectral density, getting to higher speeds, are keys to why we're focused on 3.1 and want to see that technology get enabled.
Good. So it's an ongoing evolution of tools, really. Packing the QAMs in today, getting as much density as you can early, migrating into new platforms to save power and space, getting Docsis 3.1 on there to take full advantage of the spectrum.
I think that's exactly the way we view the next 5 to 7 years. It's just a continuum of changes that we have to make to continue to grow the network.
Good. Well, it's an exciting time to be in the cable industry, and there's a lot of changes still ahead of us, a lot of work to do for years to come, I think. John, thanks very much for your interview today.
You bet.
We really appreciate all your business and the time you spent working with Cisco, and we've learned a lot from you guys, so thanks very much.
We enjoy having you as a great partner.